Hello.
Sister Hanera, you're live on the Black Parent Teleconference with Dr. Umar. What question do you have today, Queen?
Hey, Professor. How you doing?
All is
So
well.
my question is, me and another sister. There's a couple of us actually. We're all going to Africa in a couple of weeks, right? And we're moving there, and we're taking our children. And I just found out that where we're going, the schools are shut down there too on the continent. And so what I'm trying to do is put together homeschool curriculum for all of our children. Of course, the women we're gonna work together to homeschool the children. And so we have like the core curriculum down, but we wanted to incorporate more, like Black studies, like some of the electives. Unfortunately, none of the kids are in fourth grade. Otherwise, we would just, kind of sign them up for your online program. But for different age groups, are there any suggestions, whether it's books or materials that I can buy now while I'm still in the States and take with me overseas?
Definitely. I mean, you may not even have to buy them, depending on what you want to do, because there's so many book banks out there. We used to have one in Philadelphia where you could just roll up and get like 30 books for a certain grade and a certain skill. So it's been a couple years, but you definitely want to do research on book banks because you may not have to buy them. Now, if you want to buy, the newest, latest language arts or the newest, latest mathematics text for fourth grade or seventh grade or whatever the grade, you can do that. But to me, there's not much difference between last year's book and this year's book. The reason they come out with new books is to make money. So I think you guys can pretty much load up on what you need and probably not have to pay much for it. You just got to do some hunting around the internet. I mean, once y'all come up with the curriculum that y'all have, if y'all want me to take a look at it, I can do that. You could just send it to me and I'll say, okay, you might want to add this or this is perfect or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I could definitely help you on that end. But in terms of the text, it's so much out there that it's really, there's no one particular company's book that I would recommend because across companies, it's so similar that you're almost just splitting hairs. A good fourth grade textbook is going to be a good fourth grade textbook. Remember, all these textbooks have been used by school districts across the country. That doesn't necessarily mean they're great, but it can mean that none of them are going to do a poor job. All of them are going to basically do an adequate job because they make the textbooks based on state standards anyway. So the textbooks have to meet state standards in the state that's going to use them. And most textbooks in America coming out of Texas anyway, like Texas is the school textbook kingdom, if you would. So again, I would just go and look for what I see online. Of course, you have Barnes and Noble. They got an excellent homeschool section on their online website, and many of the major Barnes and Noble's bookstores, like the one in Baltimore, they have an excellent homeschool section too. Everything your seventh grader needs to know and everything your eighth grader needs to know and so forth and so on. But your basics is having, the state standards, which you download from the State Department of Education website. I also recommend including the Common Core, which is that national educational standard that came out a couple years ago. It was criticized, but at the same time, it does have most of the Common Core objectives that we want our children to master per grade. And once you have that and you choose your text, you're halfway to the finish line. Now it's about coming up with your academic calendar and then your lesson plans, which don't all have to be written up front. They can't be written up front anyway, because you don't necessarily know how much of the information you're going to go through, although you're going to try to stick to your academic calendar as much as possible. But once y'all have something on paper for me to look at, just send it to me. I'll definitely give you my feedback. But you ain't going to have a problem with textbooks. There's so many that you're probably just going to be like, let me just grab this one. Or you might find one that has a little bit more African-centered in infusions into it that you might go with, but they largely the same.
And see, that's part of, me reaching out to you for your expertise. Is like, if there's some books, like we want them to be reading books, we want them to have other activities where it's infusing consciousness. Like, I don't necessarily want them to have the regular Common Core history. Like, I want them to have more of our history, and it's range for the kids. So I didn't know if there was any books that you can suggest based on their age levels that I should buy now and take with us.
I would say this, not specific books, but two bookstores that just jump off the top of my mind right from the gate because they have pretty good children's sections. And that is Everyone's Place Bookstore in Baltimore. Without question, you'll probably get most of your children's books from them. That's a ride for you. Just ride down to Baltimore North Avenue. Brother Not T, he's a Garveyite. He's the owner. He also has a warehouse. So make sure you schedule your visit because you want to let him know you would like to see the warehouse. If one of the assistants who work in the store, let them know you're coming, but you want to see the warehouse because you're going to be opening up a school in Africa and you may be buying in bulk and you really need to see what he has available. Make sure you get to the warehouse, not just the regular store. He's like the largest black book distributor on the East Coast. Everyone's Place, Baltimore. Well, you remember because we went there. But also the other one is Hakim's Bookstore in Philadelphia. Hakim's Bookstore. HAKIM''S. They're the oldest continuously open black bookstore possibly in the country. Hakim's Bookstore, yeah. On 52nd Street, right off of 52nd and Market in West Philadelphia. Can't miss them. They both have websites, but I don't think all of their material is on their website, which is why I think you should call them.
Okay, I'll do that.
And I know for a fact Everyone's Place don't have everything because his warehouse is huge, and you got to get into that warehouse to see the treasures.
Okay, I didn't even know they had a warehouse. Okay, yeah, I had the books from Ifatunde University, but some of them I think like the high schoolers may get, but
yeah, they're a little advanced.
For them.
Yeah, they're a little advanced. Yeah. Everyone's Place to have that step down. You know, that step down. And you just gave me an idea. My goodness. It just came to me just now. You just gave me the idea that I have to write a textbook for black children. I got to do 3 of them. I got to do elementary, middle, and high school. I have to do a textbook on Pan-Africanism and black consciousness. It just came to me when you, because you asked them for that book. And there'll be some we can use out there, but we don't really have, that standard. This is the book. So you just gave me an idea. I need to do a textbook.
Okay. Well, when we finalize, me and Darren, when we finalize the curriculum for the kids, I'll run it past you or send it to you. And if you have time, take a look at it. But I'll run to, I probably can go to the one in Philly this week. And I'll have to do both this week. Yeah, go to Philly and Baltimore and make that appointment to go see what I can get. Yay. Okay. Thank you, Doc.
No problem, Queen. All right,
Take
love.
care.